Having been at the Synod on Marriage and Family Life in Rome last October, I'm really excited that the Apostolic Exhortation, The Joy of Love, has been published. It's just arrived, and it's a terrific document because it embraces all of us. It is a long document, and as Pope Francis says, you can't whiz through it. It's going to take time to digest. It upholds marriage as a gift of God, not as a burden. It encourages the community to support marriage. It encourages us to support families at every age. But at the same time, it has a special place for embracing those of us who feel excluded because of the teaching of the Church. Those of us who are divorced or remarried or in other kinds of situations. And there's been a real fundamental shift of focus that really we have to take on board as members of the Church and as parish communities. And that is that we don't condemn people, but that we embrace them and we walk with them, and that we help them to see what God wants for them in their lives. I think that's terrific. That's so important. And it's really important for me as a priest who for almost 48 years I've had the tension on the one hand of upholding the teaching of the Church and on the other showing compassion to people. Well, this document really unlocks that conflict. And Pope Francis, of course, upholds the teaching of the Church, the teaching of Jesus, that marriage is the indissoluble bond of one man and one woman. But at the same time, he brings in this whole emphasis on the tender and merciful love of God to embrace those of us who have not been able to meet those ideals. And that applies to people in all kinds of different situations. So that's why I'm really excited for the Church and in fact for the wider community, because what Pope Francis says is really for everyone and not just for the Church. So I would encourage you to try to read it, or even, as he himself says, to read parts of it. And of course in this coming week, at the plenary session where all the bishops come together in Leeds, we will be studying the document and we will be able to pursue the outcomes from that document, as in fact already our Office for Marriage and Family Life is doing. So with preparation for marriage, with support for marriage, with help for those who are in difficulties. So as a Synod Father, I'm just so happy that what we talked about for 3 weeks, and it was a long time, has come to fruition in this wonderful document, The Joy of Love.